Hi, I have this whole intro that I need to get off my chest, so if you want to go straight to the Heartstopper content, I'm gonna provide some sort of time skip you can click, so you don't have to see me ramble for too long. Oh, and spoilers ahead. Spoilers, 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 spoilers. All of the spoilers. If you do care to listen to what I have to say, here are my disclaimers. Number one, this is my first review of any kind of media as a new YouTuber. I'm trying my best with the resources that I have now, so I'm just hoping I get all my points across. Number two, this is my initial reaction. Who knows, maybe I was in some sort of dream or phantasmal daze while watching it the first time. I sense that my thoughts and opinions can change or be added onto if I watch it a second or fourth or fifth time, which will happen. Disclaimer 3, I have read the books, but I will mostly be talking through the lens of a TV-only consumer. I think they are both incredible pieces of media by their own merits, and I think the show adapted it quite faithfully. Alice Oseman is a talented and brilliant person, but the show is still quite a different experience. And lastly, I'm going to be talking more about this later in the video, but this is more than just a TV show. I cannot just sit here and discuss a popular queer media without talking about O'Shea Sibley. At the time of the release of Heartstopper Season 2 and my planning of this video, the queer community, the Black queer community, is mourning O'Shea Sibley, who lost their life simply for voguing at a gas station. I will include how to help their family and other relevant information in the description. Rest in power, O'Shea Sibley. Alright, thank you for listening, and let's get on to Heartstopper Season 2. My very first thoughts watching Heartstopper Season 2 is, who is that man? That is a man. And I see that biggest change in Kid Connor than in any of the other cast. And then he started speaking French. This is a completely different character. Another thing that I quickly noticed was the higher production value. You can quickly tell how much more money they put into the show, as they should. They've had great marketing in the past year, and I want to credit a lot of the fan base for that. I think production knows that we all enjoyed the comic book effects, so they put a lot more of that in season 2. Like when they put their fingers close together and you can see like sparks flying around, and the snow in Darcy and Tara's flashback, things like that. I like that whoever worked on color theory is still working on the show. The most memorable for me is the hotel room in Paris. There's just this bright red blanket on the bed that shows Charlie and Nick's blossoming relationship. Oh, and all of the episodes are longer. It feels fuller and more fleshed out. Every episode feels like a full-length movie. And you know, we eat up every second of it and we stay hungry. Music. Heartstopper Production just knows the most suitable songs for this show. I particularly liked the French music. I'm finally able to update my old French playlist, and by old, I mean Cœur de Pirate old. Also, we got mainstream music now. We got Conan Gray, we got Carly Rae Jepsen, and should I say her name? Taylor Swift. Budget on 100. Alright, are you ready to get into the thick of the video? Because I'm not. I want to start off with Imogen. Poor Imogen, she can never just catch a break. I loved her the first season, and she's probably my favorite character right now. She continues to have the most iconic lines in this franchise. I'm talking about that scene when Nick came out to her and she was like, oh, it's because you're gay. And like her facial expressions that went up to here, that was so deliberate. They know that she is pure comic relief, and we are here for it. Number 1 Imogen fan right here. Tao. Oh, Tao. I don't know what to say about Tao. I'm sure everyone is happy now that he has a haircut. I sympathize with Tao, like I get Tao. I think it would be nice to have a Tao in our lives, who is passionate to maintain strong friendships. But at the start of his and Elle's relationship, when he wasn't acting like himself, I'm like, what are you doing? Oh no, don't do that. But he figured it out at the end. Proud of Tao. By the way, Elle and Tao's screen time like doubled this season. Sometimes it feels like Elle has her own show in this series, as they should. Elle is serving fashion icon. She's like Carrie Bradshaw. I won't be surprised if we get analyses somewhere after the show. I love Isaac in this season. Isaac is giving ace representation, giving ace education. James's character was really interesting. I feel like we could still learn a lot more about him. I could see Isaac and James's stories being more developed in a future season, maybe together, maybe separately. I feel like it can happen. I think I want to talk about Tara and Darcy a little bit later. But for now, I really want to say that I think it's so funny that in the stage of their relationship is much further than the rest of the cast. Leave it to the lesbians for always leading the way for queer relationships. I found it really interesting that in the beginning of season 1, Ben was the main antagonist, and then it switched over to Harry. And now in season 2, Harry kind of took a back seat, and now Ben is the main antagonist. Ben's story this season is quite multidimensional, I'll give him that. I think in one of the last episodes, he reveals that he has a lot of internalized homophobia, which explains a lot of his actions so far. He's learning, but he still must learn that he cannot change what has been done to the victim and the trauma that victim will carry for the rest of their lives. I cannot predict what will happen to Ben in the future, if he even has one in the show. And so with a new season and a new budget, we have a hefty array of new characters. I loved all of the new people Elle met at the Lambert School of Art, I think it's called. I cannot believe I am fortunate to be alive in a time where I can witness a TV show like this. Gay love, lesbian, trans, ace, people of color, people of different backgrounds, different languages, a person who uses a wheelchair. I didn't really notice Sahar do much in this season. And Nick's friends were really nice, but I remember them being more prominent in the comics than they are in season 2. My favorite episode out of the 8 is the second episode, Family. It actually reminds me a lot of the Family episode in Family of None, which is coincidentally the second episode of that show as well. Everything in episode 2 just fits so well into the theme of family. They understood the assignment. We also get Nick's brother, David. Nick's brother David. But my favorite scene of the season is the family dinner party in episode 7. That dinner party was wild, okay? David got me so heated. I was physically jumping up and down my chair. When Tori grabbed his arm, I also grabbed the arms of my chair. I was like, ah! Now I want to transition to some things that I'm worried after watching season 2. The first is something very personal, and I think a lot of others can relate to me as well. I am a gay man. Nick and Charlie are in a gay relationship. I think that's plenty of representation for me already. So I keep re-recording this part over and over, and I can't seem to say what I wanted to say. What do I want to say? I want to say that it's amazing for this show to happen. It's so amazing for the show to exist. But is it realistic for us gay men? It is. I mean, it is. It is, okay? But I personally have not been able to experience something like this ever. And I don't know if I will ever will. And I know that there are other gay men out there who relate to what I'm talking about right now. I see a lot of men talk about this. Seeing Nick and Charlie so happy together, having such a healthy gay relationship, how is this possible? All of the interactions I had with other gay men don't even come close to this. There have been discussions about this in season 1, but now that we see it so much in season 2, so much, it's a lot. To be honest, in the first couple of episodes, I had such a visceral reaction. I honestly felt sick. It felt kind of gross. It's what is this? I don't know what that is. I wish I had a better way to explain this. But what made me feel a lot better was Mr. Farouk and Mr. Ajayi. That one scene when they caught Nick and Charlie at the hotel hallway. Mr. Ajayi just says, it's never too late. It can still happen. And I think that was intentional. I think they know that there are viewers here who do not have that access to Nick Nelson. Really just make that sentence. I feel like it's really important for me to talk about these things and open the discussion up for you all, because there are so many queer people who don't have the positive experiences that Heartstopper so prominently displays. Also, towards the last episodes, we find out some more darker topics, most notably Darcy's parental situation and Charlie's mental health. I think what's good is that we are shown that Darcy is learning that she can fall back to her supportive LGBTQIA plus friend group whenever she needs the help. Charlie has Nick, who's there to tell him that everything's going to be okay. My point is that a lot of queer people don't have that. A lot of queer people are left to deal with these problems themselves. Heartstopper is fantastic representation for queer relationships. And so with the introduction of these new darker topics, can we continue to call this fiction? I want to mention fellow Netflix show 13 Reasons Why. I remember at the start of every episode, there was a screen to show viewers where to find resources if they needed it. And I think eventually 13 Reasons Why created their own resource. So that's where I'm getting at. There's a balance of real life and fiction. As of the time of watching season 2, we don't have that. We just have the words like self-harm under like the rating, which by the way didn't really stylistically help each episode, especially for viewers who don't know what's going to happen later on. Similarly, I noticed that the internet and social media are becoming so much more important in the plot. We have these characters looking up information about really serious topics. We see social media being used as communication to individuals and to large groups of people, or like, to the public. We need like online safety education. That's not Heartstopper's responsibility. I'm just talking in general. Like, I remember when I was a kid, I'd be searching up everything. Some of the other minor things that annoyed me was that they are on a Paris trip. Like, enjoy yourselves. Like, stop worrying about, relationships. Start worrying about drama. Stop creating drama. Just enjoy the culture of something new. But they're just teenagers, what do they know? Lastly, I think it went by really fast. It felt like a blink of an eye. I think we all would love some filler. Filler scenes, filler episodes, filler seasons. Think slice of life. I think they do a really good job of that already, but I need more. I think we could all just use some episodes of them just hanging out, going to a cafe, doing homework, goofing off. We just want some screen time with our favorite characters. I'm not bashing Heartstopper in any way. Let's make that very clear. I think both Heartstopper seasons 1 and 2 are perfect. 10s across the board. All I'm saying is I think we need more something. More content, more from the cast, more time with new characters, more time to maybe explain how the characters are feeling. Like, just growing up queer is just so much different than growing up straight. From what I understand, there's only 1 season left, right? And that makes me really sad. I feel like there's just so much more to unpack, and having it end at season 3 just doesn't feel right to me. I mean, who knows? Maybe they can wrap it up pretty nicely. I'm sitting here saying I want 2 more seasons. I want a movie. I have plans to rewatch both seasons over and over and over again. I have plans to reread the books over and over and over again. So depending on what will happen after uploading this video, maybe I'll create more Heartstopper content. I'm also interested to hear what you all think of the topics that I shared today. What did you think about season 2? Did you love it? Did you hate it? How'd you feel about it? Please don't hesitate to leave your thoughts in the comments. I hope I can use these platforms to discuss things that I love, and for more important topics like what I shared today. I love Heartstopper, I love being gay, I love our queer ancestors. I'm excited and optimistic for the next queer generations, and it is all thanks to Heartstopper for helping me realize that. Thank you all for watching, and see you on the next one. Bye.